Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
What turns someone into a conspiracy theorist? Well, there is a new study out that's looking to find this very thing out. Why are some people more receptive to such theories? Now, a professor stated that conspiracy theorists aren't mad, they just have certain intellectual character traits that make them believe certain things. This is Qasim Qassam. He's a professor of philosophy at the University of Warwick, and he's launched this new study into what makes people believe certain theories and why such theories could push people to extremes, such as joining ISIS. And then, of course, he goes to wrap up people who are not okay with the official story of 9/11, but he believes that some people are just more vulnerable to intellectual vices, such as dogmatism, gullibility, and closed-mindedness, and this in turn makes them more likely to listen to extreme alternative sources of information. So it sounds to me like he's going into this study with a very clear idea of conspiracy theorists, because he talks about, for example, take 9/11 conspiracy theorists. Why do they hold on to these theories despite the fact that there seems to be overwhelming evidence that it wasn't an American government conspiracy to bring down the towers? I don't know. Why don't investigators just believe what criminals tell them at the beginning of an investigation? Why do they even bother digging up any more evidence to the contrary that maybe the official story isn't, exactly all the facts? Like, I don't know, some of the first reports that were coming out on CNN on 9/11 that they only aired once, showing that there was no Boeing 757 at the Pentagon.
There's no evidence of a plane having crashed anywhere near the Pentagon. The only site is the actual site of the building that's crashed in, and as I said, the only pieces left that you can see are small enough that you could pick up in your hand. There are no large tail sections, wing sections, a fuselage, nothing like that anywhere around, which would indicate that the entire plane crashed into the side of the Pentagon and then caused the side to collapse.
Or it could just be the way that they spin stories that make them so unbelievable, like the Real journalists over at the New York Times covering the Planned Parenthood baby butchering scandal. Check that out. They say nothing about the videos at all. Their whole entire story is just about the pesky Republicans and their plan to shut down the government. Gee, I wonder why people don't think they're getting the full story. And now, you'd think that they have this propaganda thing down pat, but nevertheless, the Pentagon, they want to study this, and they are employing some of their top scientists to improve the propaganda machine. Of course, governments have always been interested in mastering the human domain, but now we have DARPA's Narrative Networks program in full swing. Now, you can go to DARPA's actual, one of their documents there called Narrative Networks, and they ask the same thing that this other professor is asking. Why do people accept and act on certain kinds of information while dismissing others? Why are some narrative themes successful at building support for terrorism? What role can narratives play in causing and helping to treat PTSD? So now they're going to be working with different narratives to, stoke a little post-traumatic stress disorder. And one of the things they talk about in their research is developing models and simulations of narrative influence in social and environmental contexts. They're going to develop sensors to determine their impact on individuals and groups and suggest doctrinal modifications. So there it is. That's their research there. And if that does not sound like Jade Helm and what we've been telling you about mastering the human domain with this geospatial intelligence, I don't know what is. There you go, DARPA's own Narrative Networks program. Now, that's just one of the anomalies going on. It's a full blue moon today, two full moons in a month. So, of course, time for you to get out and do all of those things that you say you're only going to do once in a blue moon. Next time won't be, till January 2018. But there are plenty of other anomalies going on this year. We've talked to you about a lot of that, and the predictive programming that is going into these anomalies leading up to the foreboding date coming up in September. This has been ongoing. Check it out.
Roughly 3 months or 500 days from when the French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius and Secretary of State John Kerry made this vague announcement.
We have 500 days to avoid a climate chaos.
It will be September 23rd. The occult beliefs of the Illuminati stress the importance of the dates following the autumn equinox. The occultists believe that a veil separating the earthly realm from the demonic realm reaches its most allowable for the transfer of demons until midnight on Halloween. The events leading up to, on, and nearly following the date of September 23rd, 2015 are numerous, and many of them are as yet unconfirmed claims. Note to mainstream media, unconfirmed claims here. We are simply taking a look at what is being said. A comet or an asteroid is said to be approaching Earth that will hit the coast of Venezuela and Brazil and create an extinction-level event. Of course, NASA is denying this, but why would they tell us anything? They're funded by our government. The update and the ramping up of the 666 logoed CERN Large Hadron Collider and the possible universe-destroying opening of other dimensions within our own dimension or access to a gate that has been closed, the culmination of Jade Helm, a large-scale PSYOP operation targeting pockets of the United States with the largest density populations of Patriot data to be utilized by military intelligence, and Canada's Maple Resolve operation, a large-scale readiness exercise movement of military vehicles. Meanwhile, the obvious closing of large retail chains due to online ordering beginning in August and resolving around early September. The strange part about the 6,000 plus stores closing is that eyewitnesses in Canada and America are claiming that closed Target stores in Canada are being used by the military. The Day of Atonement lands squarely on September 23rd, 2015. And heralds in the 70th Jubilee year which the angel Gabriel delivered to the prophet Daniel, signaling the second coming of Christ, and the ominous historical meeting scheduled between President Obama and the openly blatant New World Order cheerleader, Pope Francis. The level of predictive programming leading up to this foreboding date with destiny has been ongoing.
The future is running out.
And yet everyone on the planet gets all worked up about these pointless little behaviors, blissfully unaware of the great vaporizing meteor due in 2015. Which obviously doesn't exist because I'm kidding!
Those with open eyes keep a watch as the elite gradually disappear to their cities underground.
I mean, basically, you got an underground roadway system here that runs all the way to Maine, to Washington, D.C., to Colorado. These locations go all the way to Area 51. These locations go all the way to Washington, D.C. There's access underneath the White House to this location. Well, forget the United States government. This is a headquarters for the Illuminati. This is where they'll ship most of their supplies.
Economic cycles come to pass.
This mystery of the Shemitah has been affecting our lives from the moment we were born, really affecting from our bank accounts to world history itself. And we are in a Shemitah year right now. That's one of the reasons I didn't want people to focus on dates. I do give dates, but it's a bigger principle. So this mystery begins actually on Mount Sinai. When the law comes, it's called the law of the Shemitah. And basically, to understand it, it's this. Every 7 years was a Sabbath year. It's called the Shemitah. And during that year, there was no reaping, no sowing of the land. Everything came to a rest. And on the last day of the Shemitah, the last day was called, in Hebrew, was called Elul 29. That is the 29th day of the month of Elul. On that day comes a wipeout. All debt is wiped out, all credits wiped out, all the financial accounts are wiped clean. Now, the Shemitah was supposed to be a blessing. But when Israel turned away from God, the Shemitah comes back, not as a blessing, but as a sign of judgment on a nation that has once known God, but now is driving God out of its life. And this ultimately would lead to the destruction of Israel. So the question here is, could this ancient mystery, the Shemitah, still be in effect? Could it be affecting us right now? Could it be a warning with what is happening in America? And the answer, and that's why I wrote the book, The Mystery of the Shemitah, the answer is incredibly yes. It's in effect, it's affecting us, it has affected us, it is affecting us, and I believe it will affect us.
Again, we are simply evaluating the signs here, mainstream media. We wouldn't want you to be envious of our ability to analyze what you are paid to cover up.
We'll see you here Monday, 7 p.m. Central.
Brain Force is here. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been on this the last few months. You probably noticed I've been more crazed, more focused, less brain fog, more energy, more special reports, and it's because of Brain Force.
We kept changing this formula over and over and over again until it became sort of a grand puzzle. For example, the L-theanine inside of it, that is activated by the different compounds in the yerba mate that we put inside of it as well. This just increases the compounds you already have.
This is what you're actually designed to run on.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a car will run on one form of junkie gas, but it runs really good on what it's designed for.
And that's the principle of Infowars Life, as far as I understand, that you've always had, is that it's not about synthetic chemicals and forcing actions. It's about letting your body do its own thing and giving your body the tools it needs to create these different compounds that are super valuable and super beneficial.
You will find Brain Force and other game-changing products at InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
You are watching the Infowars Nightly News, which airs 7 p.m. Central at InfoWarsNews.com. And your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.